Now, in this video, we're going to talk about login. In the previous one, we created the sign up form, we registered the user. Here we can see the users. Now we try to handle the login functionality for them. As you see here, we have the user email, but we don't know the password in our database, but we already know what's the password because we created these users. So let's see about how we render or how we handle the login. First of all, we're still in the same page, no problem with that. So we don't need to render any page. We just need to render the login functionality. So we write console login, which is also async await if you want, but let's do that later. We will see if we need it or not. Request response. And here, as always, console.log request.body to see if we're receiving the body correctly or not. So this is the login functionality. We're going to require it here to be able to use it in our route. We go to route, and here we say route.post /user/login. And now from user controller, we should see the function called login. Nice. Now I need to go first of all to sign up form. Here, I need to copy this form since it's almost the same. We don't need, we need email and password for sure, but here we have a login instead of sign up. I need to change the action to /user/login. So we didn't change a lot in our front end. This is the front end, the same email and password, and then the button called login. Here's the button called sign up, and the action is different. Now, what's the action? The action, it will take me to the login function. Login function, it's gonna console log request.body. So in this case, if I try to do like Sam, it should show me what's the email and what is the password. So request.body is correct. Now, the first thing about login, guys, is here we write first, check if user is exist. If the user is not exist, we should like render an error message. The user is not exist in our database. And if the user is exist, we can continue. Then second, check if the password is correct. I mean, if the user is not exist, they need to sign up first anyway. But if the user is exist, so we have access to the user information because the user is already in our database, then we need to check the password if it's correct or not. If the password is not correct, we send an error message like it's not the password is not correct. But if the password is correct, so that means the email is correct, password is correct, so the user is safe to log in the website. So how we check if the users exist or not? We already have request.user.email here. So we do like user model, or let me do something like let exist user equal to user model. So here I think we need to go with async await. So we're gonna await user model to find one user. And here we need to find one user by the user email. And the user email is basically request.body.email. Now we're gonna console.log what is exist user. And sorry guys, and we will try to do both things. We will write a correct email first and a non-correct email, or an exist email with non-exist email, and see what's the difference between them. So let me go back here, refresh. Now you see we found the user information because this email is exists in our database, and the password, the database is already here. Now what if we try another email like Ted, for example, blah blah blah. This email we know is not in our database, so we see null. So when you see null, so that means the email is new, the user must register, but when you don't see null, you see the user information. So we say, okay, if you find the user, here, if you find the user, here you need to check the password. But if you don't find user, for now, I will just console.log like user is not exist, please sign up first. Let's try again. If we refresh the page, this is non-exist user. You can see user is not exist, please sign up first. You can also render the same page with this error message if you want. So I will leave this as a homework for you. So here, homework. what to do is render the same page, which is this page, sign up login with the error message, which will be similar to this one, by the way, what we did here. All right, but if the user is exists, we need to check the password. What I mean with the check the password. Check the password, we need to check if request.body.password, which means the password that we already have in our body, which is the one uh, that we write it here. Is it the same as what is the password in our database or not? So we need to check if the password in our request is the same password in the database, which is 100% will not be the same because the password in our request is just a normal password like this one, but the password in the database is always decrypted like that. So what we need to do, we need to do the opposite of decrypt. We need to compare both passwords. Let me show you. If we go again to npm decrypt, the page we got the function, the package from, and you scroll down, you will see, scroll down, you will see the function that we used. We use here hash sync to hash the password, and now we use the compare sync to compare the password. And if you check the sign up function, you will see we use here hash sync to hash the password, and now we use the compare sync. So how we do that? We do like let is correct password. And by the way, the function we're going to use now, which is from decrypt, right? Yes, right, from decrypt dot compare sync. We send first our plain password. I wanted to compare it with the hashed one. So we're gonna compare the blank one with the hashed one. And this one, guys, is always give me true or false. Always true or false, because either they are the same password and this is true, or they are different and this is false. So we say if is true. Okay, if the correct password is true, console.log what I will also console log user information. So as long as I am seeing the user information like this one here, so that means all good. But if it's not correct, I will also go with console log, and the message will be like password is not correct. And also your homework to print this error message in the home page. So render the same page with the error message. Now let's try. First of all, we need to try a wrong email. You see, user is not exist, please sign up first. Now let's try correct email. And you see password is not correct. Now let's try a correct password. Let me stop this. Try a correct password. Now you see the password, the user information. So if the user is not correct, like this one here, user is not correct, please sign up first because the user was new. If we have a correct password, correct user, yes, but we write wrong password. We say, sorry, password is not correct, which is this one here. But if the email is correct and the password is correct, we go here and we check here, exist user, and now we have the user information. Now we know, guys, that the email is correct and the password is correct, and now user is allowed to go to or to log in to a website. And also if you want user is allowed to go to the dashboard page, which is in our example this home page. So before user log in, we should not see this page. User should log in first to be able to see this page. And how we do that? We do that with something called authentication and GWT. So stay with us in the next video and we will talk about how we handle this authentication.